Alright, so I'm doing some post-logging cleanup today to help encourage more deer bedding. It's windy and rainy today, but normally when the weather's bad is when I have a chance to actually work out at our farm. So, taking advantage of the free time today, gonna do some serious cleanup work in this logging area. It's another spot where we did have a decent amount of Canada thistle come back, but we are starting to get that woody regen that we want. And deer are holding up in this area, but I have not done any cleanup in here. And when you do a big logging operation, doing that detail work afterwards is really important. So I'm gonna get at it today. Hopefully I can get some good footage. It will be raining, so we'll see how that messes with my camera lens here, but yeah, should be a good day. Here's a quick pan of the area I'm gonna be working on before I bust out the brush saw here and start cleaning it up. You can see it's already getting pretty thick. Thistle isn't bad on this side either, so that's nice. But yep, time to do some cleanup work. I want to encourage as much activity down in here as possible because the deer do love it down in this area. It kind of acts as a brushy bottom. All done cutting. I'm gonna go highlight a few beds that I found while I was working today. Alright, you can hear it's pouring now. Did wear the rain gear, so stayed somewhat dry. Alright, so here's the first bed that I found. You can see old hinge tree. There's only a handful of hinge trees in here. This one is still alive, box elder, those hinge great. And you can see the well-worn impression with lots and lots of deer hair in here. So again, this one was more just a really nice backstop, nice overlook. You get the view from the deer's angle, but this is clearly one that has been used a lot. So it's just got really nice structure around it, easy escapes. Really, this is the only structure, so the deer just bedded up against here, but can get out, dangers coming. So this has been a clearly a good bed for this area. Alright, here was another really well used bed. Check out all that hair. This is just a tree that I had hinged that tree on top of that one, so I never even cut that tree, and you can see it sprouting up, and the deer found a nice little pocket right there. It's open, there's no sticks, so that's why that deer chose to bed right there. Nice structure around it. So like I said, the Canada thistle got really bad in here. So my goal today with these trails that I cut, might be tough to see in the video, but I did take the brush saw and cut trails through all this old Canada thistle junk. There's some other stuff in here too. The reason I cut it down now, it'll make it easy to see where my trails are this summer once that Canada thistle starts to come back, and then I'll spray it so I have good ease of movement through here. I do find a lot of beds, even with the Canada thistle, they still use it as bedding structure. You can see it stays standing all right. Now clearly I don't want it, it's a terrible invasive, but it's just too prevalent for me to fight in here, so I'm gonna wait until the woody regen eventually wins the day and shades out the thistle. But for now, I just want to have lots and lots of trails. Here's another spot where I cut it back and I'll let it sprout. What I'll have in the tank for the thistle will be triclopyr. Triclopyr kills Canada thistle, and I also have a little bit of buckthorn in here, so I'll use it to kill both of those. I'll put those in the tank and probably come in here. Might be late May. I'm hoping that I get enough sprouting by late May that I can come in and spray off my trails in, because June is super busy for me, so I don't know if I'll be able to get in here then. But that's the plan. There's a bed right there tucked up in the treetop, laying on sticks and everything, but nice backstop, nice canopy. So I'm guessing a fawn probably tucked itself up in there, and it could sneak out the back pretty easily. Here was maybe one of the most well-used beds I found. It's just white with hair. And look at that. This was a tree that just got tipped over from the wind. Bed's right here. Easy escape out that direction. Easy to slip out that way. They just love the overhead structure. Obviously, it's not doing anything. It's not like it's going to protect them from the snow. But there's something about the overhead structure that they just really, really relate to. So we have a very clear, well-used bed right here. And here's kind of one of the main trails that ran through this. It's some settling here, which is some down trees. Had to blow those open. Deer were still using it. They were just jumping over top, but I like to make it as easy as possible for the deer to move around. There is a little bit of, you can see some structure just with some blow over trees and things like that. There's beds up in that area. Wherever I found actual woody structure, there was generally beds in this area. So here's the area that's become the best bedding hub since we did the logging, and this is stuff that I did. This is the edge of the woods where it meets switchgrass out there, and I did a big edge feathering project here, and I tucked in lots of beds up in on this edge, 10-15 yards into the woods here, and it is set up very, very well for bedding. Like, here's a spot right there. There was a well-used bed. I kind of cleared it up over there too. Beautiful canopy. These are just trees that have folded over. I didn't even cut them. You can see there, that one was never cut. But I made a beautiful canopy bed, and I mean, you can't beat the view here. It's like a valley out right there. Nope, snow's starting to fly. Valley down in there. Great escapes every direction. I cleaned it up a little bit today. I mean, this is a spot a deer would definitely want to hang out. It's pretty bulletproof when it comes to a deer bed. So the back side of this edge feathering needed some cleanup. So it was brush saw and chainsaw in here. Lots of trails. This trail cutting out that way made a nice little bed right there. So I got good canopy. I got a trail cutting up this direction, and I cleaned up, cut up. And look at how strong that edge feather was, and that created a great screen. I wanted deer to bed on this edge. We don't walk anywhere near this area. This is kind of a sanctuary area on the farm. We don't even hunt anywhere around here. So I wanted to set it up so that the deer would use all this space for habitat and for bedding. So on the edge of all this is this highway that I created. You can see it is very well used by the deer. I mean, I think I sprayed it 2 or 3 years ago. Just killed it back. Bare dirt trails. Deer love bare dirt trails, and they followed the script. And this is a massive travel corridor that runs for, I'm guessing this one runs 1,000 yards. I got it going through 4 different woodlots on the farm, and the deer use it very heavily during season. Now, there are stands eventually that connect up to this travel corridor, and we have gotten chances at bucks on this travel corridor, but I set this up as just being the main run through everything, and the deer have definitely followed the script. So again, on the back side of this edge feather, I have lots of these little pockets where I find deer beds. This one right here is probably the most well used bed, and it's all muddy now, raining today, but this is a good bed because we got the hinge tree there we got a good escape out that way to the switchgrass, and it sets up on the back side of this run here. But this did get a little bit thick back here. Got escapes filtering out that direction. So that was one of the main focuses, is just getting the back side of this edge feather cleaned up, because when I want to bed deer right up on the edge, I want a good run set up all the way through this edge feather right on the back side of it. I mean, there is deer hair just littered throughout the back of this edge already. See the hair there? So they were using it. I just made it a little bit easier for them to utilize. And then periodically there's spots like this where they can kick out towards the massive CRP bedding that we got up there, with some scattered woody regen, lots of switchgrass, things like that. So much of these tipped trees were just ones that have tipped over naturally. Got a lot of box elder in here that just fallen over, and they create these nice little canopied spots like this. So again, here was a spot that was kind of boxed in. This tree right here was in the way, so I cut it back. Now they can slip out back onto one of those main travel corridors right over there. I got my switchgrass coming up pretty close to this. Left a little bit of space. I wanted some woody regen to fill in and stuff right here. And the foxtail got bad. I think I tried to seed right up to here, and there's about a 10-foot strip where the switchgrass just got choked out pretty heavily by the foxtail. But for the most part, over time, you can see just the successional growth is going to start leaching out. There's a tree right there, a bunch of it close to this edge. So this will keep encroaching on that switchgrass, and eventually the two habitat types will meet, and we'll have a nice soft edge here. We already have a nice soft edge here, but it'll keep filling in with woody stuff, and the switchgrass will do its job up there just to kind of, it's only a second year stand. Third year it should really jump to 6-7 feet. It was really dry last year, so it stunted the switchgrass a lot. And I'm expecting 6 to 7 feet worth of growth out of that this year, so it'll screen off my bedding down in here, just make it feel that much more secure. But I mean, this edge feather it worked phenomenal. You can see all those white stems there. That's all the regen that's coming up off of these box elders. Box elder are probably the best tree for hinging in Minnesota. Them or elm. Elm hinge really well. But look at all that. It's just made a sweet edge. Great for bedding. Alright, that's it. Hopefully I don't have too much blurry footage. And it's pouring rain pretty good here today. That's alright though. It'll finally take the frost out of the ground. I've been wanting to do some tree transplanting, and it's yeah, still was frozen as of a couple days ago. So we need the moisture too. But fun project today. Glad I'm getting some time to get some of this stuff done before the craziness of the summer habitat season starts for me. So alright, you all take care. God bless.